Wednesday, March 14th, about 11 in the morning. I was just sitting here thinking about all the stuff that's been going on, and having talked with some advisors recently. And while, if you're new to me or some of these videos to document what's been going on, I'm sure if you're taking them out of order or out of context, without doubt, they look like a madman. Without doubt, they look like, I'm sorry, my eyes are very light sensitive. I have light eyes and they are light sensitive right now. Anyway, probably because they've seen so damn much. Could look manic or like the work of a madman. To those doubting Thomases and Thomasias and whatever, look at the geotags and try and piece the things back in time, date, order, because they were shot on multiple cameras. They were uploaded out of sequence, because sometimes these shorter videos will upload faster, thanks to Google, than in the order you put them in. And so some was by design and some is just by the luck of the draw. And if you're watching them out of order, then they can probably look like just, I can't even imagine. Well, I can't imagine, and that's why I'm even making this little editorial note. Anything you've heard me express about government in any form is not bullshit. It's not a lie. It's not imaginary. It's not, it's not what you might think it is. What it is what you don't want to believe it is. That there are crooked people in the United States government working with, shall we say, less than forthright others to overthrow the Constitution of the United States. The Constitution and democracy and everything, in theory, was a great idea. Although written by the Illuminati, now sodomized by the Illuminati, it has turned out to be anything but what it was intended to be. Just us. Just us who can afford it. The rest of you are fucked. Get ready to cop a plea. You're going to get a public pretender who works for the DA, and they're going to decide in the back room what the hell's going to happen with you, and you're going to take it, or you're going to go down for the time. It's pretty much that simple. Justice. For those who can afford it, now it comes down to who hires the best liar. If you get a good liar, they can help you get out of everything, including murder, rape, anything you can fathom. A good attorney can get you out of. It's just a matter of money. Ask OJ. Ask, Blake. Ask. I can get down the list. Ask me. That's not the point of this. The point of this is just to pull the sheets up on stuff that is ethically and morally wrong, stuff that you don't want to believe they had planned, like, the genocide of 99% of the population before 2020. Right, ABC 2020. There'll be less watching it than ABC. They want to take world population down to 2 to 500 million, according to the Georgia Guidestones, and they spent $1 gazillion putting up the Doomsday Monument. You can Google it, it's there. Anything I've talked about is found on the internet, and it's found on government sites, ironically, and official sites for like Illuminati and things. So it's not just Kurt blowing smoke and pulling this or that, and then may have come through WikiLeaks. I don't even have time to read that shit. Last time somebody pulled it, I guess there were like 3,000 to 5,000 leaks somehow linked to me. I don't know, I never drilled down. I could give a shit. You see, under Whistle Protection Act, under Freedom of Press, which I have had since age 10, under Freedom of Information Act, under Freedom of Speech, and several other alleged amendments that used to work. They don't work much anymore with the PrEP Act and the listening acts and the spy acts and all this stuff, they're supposed to still work. You're supposed to still have your rights. But when you click I agree on NSA, I've been in the beta program since before you could even get Gmail for you. You had to be invited in. That's how bad these people wanted me. And I was referred in by the FBI. How ironic. Thanks, Ed, much more. Refer me into NSA. If I wasn't already working with enough government agencies as a young lad. So I've helped work and give beta work with these guys since the 1800s. I go back to people who've worked on ARPANET, if you can figure out what that is. And for those who don't know what ARPANET is, it's real. Just Google it and you'll figure it out. I'm not going to keep explaining what each of these entities are. If you really want to know, you can start looking. HARP.net, not to be confused with ARPANET, where there hasn't been natural weather on this planet, thanks to my government, since 1959. The year I was born in this incarnation. So I haven't seen it in this incarnation, natural weather on this planet. Plantex plant, Amarillo, Texas. 60 miles wide, 20 miles deep, and we build more shit for anybody on the planet, and you don't get that kind of shit unless you buy it from us. And then if you tweak with it, we're going to complain that you are doing espionage and you're stealing government secrets from us, even though we sold it to you, because we don't want you to modify it where we may not be able to still monitor how you use it. That's how twisted the thinking of my government intelligence is. McCarthy did warn us in '59, the year I was born in this incarnation, that in Sheboygan, Michigan, right here, I'm from here, it doesn't matter where I'm from, or what I've done. What I've done is more important than where I'm from. It warned us to beware of the military complex, the military machine. Oh, dear God, we didn't listen well, did we? Kennedy was shot over trying to shut down some of the military machine, and the fact that he pissed off the Bushes and a bunch of others, people in the Bushes. Wasn't it ironic that bin Laden joined the CIA as an op for George Bush back in '59 and was mysteriously in Dallas the day of the shooting? Oh, they didn't mention that, did they? And it was the driver who did the kill shot in a Russian execution style as he turned around to check on the president and popped him underneath the shoulder. That's when you see the president's head blow off as the driver turns. There's no irony in that, boys and girls. See, I'm through the trees of heritage related to the Kennedys. I'm related to the Gardners, who were royalty. My great-grandfather was a knight and a lord and had a seat in Parliament. So I've looked through the family archives and I've seen a lot of things that most people will never see, unless they're in their family archives and they have access to them. As the executor to my mom's estate and other estates, and I'm not going to get into all the details about that, you end up seeing things through time. Honestly, some things you wish you never saw. Some things that are better left unsaid. But when it comes a time to say things, people are dispelled by those in the know as being out of their mind, and that spin control, denial. No, that's not true. I know that's not us. Intelligence, keep them thinking it's everyone but you. Having worked in government as a child, volunteering for bumper sticker and signing petitions, and having presidents and senators and attorney generals and governors and heads of labor unions and heads of organizations, Teamsters, UAW, Black Panthers. You know, I was a kid. I didn't decide he was in my living room. We didn't have Patty Hearst over because we weren't living in California. But the point in all this is you're exposed to things that no other kids on the block are exposed to. And it's instilled with you from childhood that these are things you can never talk about because of the sensitivity of the government nature of these things. So many things I never talked about through the years as people knew me. Certainly not on these levels, because it was against all protocols. It was a violation of laws. Whatever. But then, as I got older, I watched the laws twist against me by our government to force me to do things with them because I didn't voluntarily sign up for government service. And when trying to be recruited by certain agencies and bureaus back in the late teens and early 20s, I was always quick to decline. Even when I was mysteriously found on missions with them in foreign countries that I thought I was being sent there for a completely different reason. When I accepted the trip or the assignment or whatever it was. And that's been both domestic and foreign. There have been times I have been sent on stuff with networks. I think some people at the networks knew. That's why I was selected. Certainly people in government knew, because they interfaced with me when I hit the ground in places. But that goes back with every network I've worked with, and every news service. In some fashion, I've had an interface with Secret Service, FBI, CIA, or whoever was involved in the story loop. Even when I was doing more entertainment stuff, like producing rock concerts and syndicated series and stuff, when I was on trips or on tours with bands, or when I was traveling, I was also gathering news for either networks undercover. Thank you, NBC, for that one assignment that really was life-changing. Bob Mountain, you guys are Canadian. But through these experiences, I also got to work with people like Andy Economos and a lot of bright people, and help develop research and concepts for programming, and then went further and got very involved in technology and worked with the University of Illinois and Microsoft and Mosaic and Netscape and IBM and a myriad of companies where I had R&D deals in place because we were developing and innovating all types of technologies, from SSL technologies to transaction technologies, things to interface with banking, and voice over IP, and audio video streaming without plugins and advanced technologies, and working with NASA and JPL and Smithsonian on the broadcast for the Mars Pathfinder missions using our technologies. And yet I was never worried about how much money I made from that at the time. Because certainly I was putting in monstrous hours. I've always put in an average of 3 to 5 days, as a day sometimes, on average. And the longest day has been 17 when we were on a very intensive shoot for 17 days straight. We rotated crews because I didn't expect the crew to be trying to play. I don't expect people to keep up with me. I move fast. I think incredibly fast. I multitask. I get more done in a normal 24-hour day than most people can get done in a week. And that's not braggadocio. I've watched a lot of people work, and I see their output level, and I've run enough companies to know what I'm talking about. And I've run enough network O&O, network owned and operated facilities, and other broadcast facilities to know what I'm talking about. And other businesses. I haven't just been involved in broadcast or research and technology. I've been involved in green technologies, mergers and acquisitions, very high-level finance, and I've kept my companies private for the reason, not to keep to self, but to avoid negative outside influences. I did try and go public with one of my companies, and it was the biggest clusterfuck that I was ever put through at that time in my life. I've been through several more since, where I felt like I was being sodomized, literally, by not only government, but other big businesses that I had helped advance their technology so much because I wouldn't give up my technology or sell it for pennies on the dollar, and wanted to maintain controlling interest. As a result of that, those with more money helped make sure I got forced into a bankruptcy along with my second wife, who was also a very high-level government background. For some reason, of the two marriages I've married, they've both been very government, high-level political families. And that was not my target choice. It was something that just somehow it all came to be. Uncle Sam can work some amazing shit through the back door, can't they? And those who have been on this side of the sodomy stick know exactly what I'm talking about. Those of you who live what we call normal lives would think someone like me is out of my mind or would deny the possibilities. Or if you're even open to the possibilities, would still run like hell because it scares the shit out of you. And it probably does. But fear, boys and girls, is a completely wasted emotion. Because what is going to be is going to be. So that's why I don't fear police officers, government officials, agents of any kind who roll on me. And they've learned that really quickly when they try to do their shit on me. I have no fear. Because he who blinks first will lose. I don't blink on this shit unless throw shit in my eyes and things. Tamper with me in some fashion. I'm very bright and very good about documenting and archiving. And I have catalogs of television, audio, video, and other stuff that go back to childhood and why they think they keep getting everything. All they're doing is only pissing me off more and giving me more people I have to go find to recollect shit, reconstruct shit, or determine that they have destroyed shit, which is going to piss me off even more. But at some point, all you assholes who have been toying with Uncle Kurt and thinking you're going to get away with it and making him out to be this, that, or the other and falsifying stuff in courts and getting me all this identity theft and other horse shit you've caused in my life, there's enough hard forensic evidence that even if you lit the National Treasury on fire and the White House and the National Archives, you still couldn't destroy all the evidence that I have spread around this planet, just waiting for the right day to unleash whoop ass on your ass. And that day is coming soon, and I warn you all. Armageddon. The final chapters are written. The Phoenix rises from the ashes again. You were warned. Now, still time to try and make amends. If I get to you first before you've reached out to me to make amends, I'm thinking at that point, it's a moot conversation. Because you had every opportunity to make it right. So for all you criminals with badges, snitches, bitches, witches, and other MFers who think you've been toying with me and you're going to shut me down, just be glad I haven't had a group of Haitians fly up your ass or some other people I could have called and made phone calls. I want to do this right. We're going to do it by the book. And while the feds and everybody else has said happy hunting and you got a green light and no one would blame you if you did, and you'd be doing us a favor by taking some of these assholes out, no, we're going to do this the right way. Unless you push me right into a box corner, we're going to do this the right way. And I'm going to publicly humiliate you and then have your ass thrown straight into hell without a handbasket. Like you publicly toyed with me. And remember, I ain't laughing yet. I wasn't laughing along the way. But he who last laughed, you know the story. And I hear him warming up in the bleachers. I just haven't called them out yet for this section of the play. And if you think you're going to F with me and something happens and I decide not to come back anymore and disappear, believe me, there are those who have the keys to the castle and the full authorization to bury your ass. And they will. So, be it now or be it later, I will see you in your last days. It is your Armageddon. Time to find your religion or grab onto your ass. You decide.